Hello, dear Toastmasters. I'm Seema Menon, and I'm the District 91 PR Manager. I'm so happy to have Elizabeth Nostedt, who is the Region Advisor for Region 10 with Toastmasters. It's a pleasure to have you here at the District 91 District Officer Training. Elizabeth, good morning.
Good morning.
And I just wanted to, know more about your journey with Toastmasters. How has it been from day one till now, and uh, and what has been your why?
Mm, Good questions. So I originally started Toastmasters in Canada and was a member for about 3 years before I started to move around. And the reason I joined at that time, I was in a department at work where we were doing research and then giving presentations to our executive management team. And I never felt that I needed Toastmasters or anything like that at the time. I felt confident in that. But I had a colleague who was a very nervous presenter. We always wondered what was she really trying to say, and she just didn't put across her presence. And then it seemed like it was overnight, even though it wasn't. But she changed and she became this confident speaker. We knew what she was trying to say. And so I asked her, "Well, what's different? What did you do?" And she said she joined Toastmasters. So I said, "I want some of that." And I joined at that time in the same group she was in, had a lot of fun in that group. And then I started to move around and didn't have Toastmasters for a while until I moved to Sweden. And now in Sweden, I've been a member 26 years
Wow.
and still loving it. Otherwise, I wouldn't be here.
Absolutely.
And what I've done is, in the beginning, it was creating clubs because at the time, Europe wasn't a district.
Yeah.
And we needed to develop leaders. We needed to develop more clubs to be leaders for. And we did that, such that this last year, July 1st, we split Europe from 2 districts to 6 districts.
Wow.
And that's never been done in Toastmaster history, probably never will again.
Mm.
But it created a real need, a real interest. It kept my interest going as I wanted to see what was happening. So the role of region advisor, which I'm doing now, is it's a voluntary role, as most roles are in Toastmasters. And I put my name forward, and I was selected because they said, well, you've been a part of the history, but you also have the capabilities, the skills to guide these new leaders that are coming along in these newly created districts. While Districts 91 and 71 here in the UK aren't new, they could still use some encouragement. And that's what I do in the role, guiding, coaching, advising the district leaders, which I love to do because they're all fabulous leaders and I probably learn more from them, but I can put in a few gem of ideas here and there.
Mm. Fantastic. You have a wide plethora of experience, and it's really amazing the kind of work that you've put in as well as what you've gained from Toastmasters, isn't it?
I think that's what you say, what you gain from it.
Yeah.
And I've gained so much as a person. I think we talk a lot about soft skills,
Mm.
and those are things we're not getting in the workplace per se,
Mm.
but you certainly get them in Toastmasters to
Mm.
develop yourself individually and as a leader.
Yeah. You did a leadership challenge workshop just a couple of days back at District 91. Um, for a few who were not able to make it for that, what are the tips that you would love to share for upcoming leaders?
I presented 5, but I'm only going to tell you about 2
Okay.
because it would have to be a much longer interview. But the first example is inspire a shared vision. And I think that's what we need to do in all our leadership teams, whether it's work or Toastmasters, is get together as leaders and plan and look at where do we want to be? What is our vision? How are we going to create it? And by having the teams work together on this, I think they buy into the idea more easily. and discuss it a lot. So that was inspire a shared vision. And the second one to bring up is encourage the heart. And this relates to recognizing people's contributions. Everybody's always, most people are contributing something somewhere. And quite often enough, we don't recognize that they're doing it. So we need to do that. And then also celebrate the successes that we have. So this applies in Toastmasters and in any work project you might have, is celebrate when you reach a goal. Celebrate when a new club is formed in Toastmasters. All these small things of the celebration and recognizing people help them to become more real themselves, but more attached and more interested in Toastmasters.
Fantastic. Yeah, I mean, that the last bit about celebrating success, it's so important, isn't it? It gives you that little boost to keep continuing to work and giving more back to Toastmasters, isn't it?
Yeah.
So what's your goal for this year and how is it progressing?
So in the role of region advisors, I'm a coach or supporter, advisor, that sort of thing. And I think the most important part for me is to stay in the coach role and be less of an advisor, because advisor means putting across your opinions. And I think our leaders all they're very strong leaders, excellent leaders this year. It's so incredible to work with them. So I think I just have to keep coaching them to do their best and stay out of the advising side. Although once in a while I have to get there. And as well, it's getting through this year. It's a heavy year as a region advisor. I'm visiting these 8 districts and participating in their workshops, doing corporate visits, this sort of thing. So it's a heavy drain on my resources, but I also get energy from it. So it's keeping this balance in it as well.
Yeah.
And then, so I plan to run for the international director role.
Oh, fantastic.
And that becomes open in 2020 at our Paris convention. So I hope for all our listeners here in Europe that you plan to attend the Paris Toastmasters International Convention.
Fantastic, and that's within our reach, isn't it? So we should all take, whatever we can learn from that. I've heard a lot about the conferences that you get to meet so many new people, and there's a lot of energy and learning from that.
So incredible.
Yeah.
Book up August 2020.
I just want to know, you did mention that you are traveling, visiting various districts as part of your region advisor role. How different is D91 as compared to others?
I think each district has perhaps a little bit of their own characteristic, but what I see across the whole is people who are dedicated, who are enthusiastic, who are wanting to talk about Toastmasters all the time, and that's across the board. Yeah. So, for instance, we had district leader training in Kuala Lumpur where we met up with another region, and these same leaders. We met them at the August convention, but meeting them again now, and it's the same thing. They're dedicated people who want to do wonderful things with Toastmasters.
Yeah, fantastic. Lastly, I just want to ask you, so who is Elizabeth outside Toastmasters?
Also a very busy person. In my family side, I have a husband, I have 2 children. My oldest daughter has moved away. My youngest moved away to her own apartment. And my younger son is at the university. So I see them once in a while. And at work-wise, I'm a senior project manager at an IT company, and I'm doing business and IT-related projects. And I also have a coaching and speaking business on the side that's been a little bit resting this year as I do RA, but I'll pick that up again as I continue.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Elizabeth. And we really appreciate you taking time for meeting all of us, and wish you all the best.
Thanks so much. My pleasure to meet you and engage in this way.
Thank you.
Thanks. Bye, everybody.